Hello friends, today we are going to see how to write the program for to find the maximum element in an array. So let's we start to write the program to find the maximum element. First I have already included that all header files which are required to execute the code, the main function and the two most frequently used functions, that is nothing but clr and getch. So let's we start to declare that array first and the few variables which are required. Suppose let me consider that here integer size. This variable is required to take the size of an array from that user. Then I, which is required to used in a for loop. Then max, which is used to or which will store the maximum element in an array. And then I just consider one array of size 100. Okay, so to take that size of an array, let me give that one message to that user, and that message is enter the size of an array. So when this message observed on that output screen, user will type the size, and that size I want to store in a variable size. Okay, after that we have to take that many elements, depends upon value of size, we have to take that many elements from that user. So for that we have to give the message to that user to type that many number of elements. So for that I can write that one message, enter %d elements of an array, and that %d will print the value of size on the output screen. Okay, then I use that for loop. As you know that if you want to store that array element, we have to store one by one. So here I say that I less than size, and every time I value will be incremented. Now in that for loop, what I can write, scanf function, scanf. Here I can write %d comma ampersand arr of I. Okay, now once that array elements are stored in that array, let me assume that maximum element, which is nothing but array arr of 0. Actually we don't know which element is the maximum, but we consider that the first element that is going to assign to the max variable, and then our logic it actually starts to find that maximum number. And but for that, once again I need to consider a for loop, same like that, the storing of that array element. So here I have written that one for loop, and then this is the logic. Here I can write if array element, if it is greater than the max value, then here I can write, this is the if body, max is equal to arr of I. So what is that condition? If array element, as we are going to increase or we are going to check that one by one array element, so the logic is that when that array element, when it is greater than the value stored in that max, then that array element that is going to assign to that max variable. And then when this for loop will execute completely, then at the end of that for loop, the max variable will store the maximum element present in an array, and that we need to print it. So here I can write, /n maximum element in an array is equal to %d comma max. Finish. Our program part is finished. Let's we try to see that how this code it will execute. So let me compile, then run. Here the first message observed on that output screen is enter the size of an array. Suppose let me type it is a 5. Then definitely you can observe here the second message observed on that output screen is enter 5 elements of an array. Let me type it any 5 elements. Either we can use that the space in between any two variable, or we can use enter key. So let me type it first element. Suppose this is third element, sorry, second element, third element, fourth element, and the fifth element. Then see that maximum element, our output is maximum element of an array is 56. You can check it. Is it right? Suppose if I want to print the location of that maximum element also, so how I can print that the location? Simple logic is that for that I need to consider one variable. Let me consider that location loc, which will I print, or which will store that the location of that maximum element. And then in that if part I can write location is equal to I plus 1. Simple logic. This is the simple logic is that. Why I say that I plus 1? Because as you know that location we can also call, we always use that the location 1, location 2, location 3, but that I will give that the index, then index is always starts from 0. If the first element is there, then its index is a 0. Suppose the first element is a maximum, then definitely the location 1 will be printed. That for that purpose I need to add a plus 1 in that ith variable, so that it will give that the final location of the maximum element. Now here let me try to modify this my printf message. Maximum elements of in an array is %d, which is at location, which is at location %. And here I can write maximum comma loc. Just try to have a look once again what I have written here. The maximum element in an array is a %d, where the maximum element will be printed in place of %d here, first %d here, which is at a location %d. That means here the location value will be printed. Now you can check it what happened here. Let me try to run that code. Here I can once again use that the size array. You can you take it any size, 5, 10, 20, whatever it may be. For your understanding purpose, I just consider only 5 here. Okay, so let me type it. That element, any element you can type it here. Now here I consider here a 5 element. Let me type it. Now see that the maximum element in an array is 89, which is at location 3. You can check it. The 3 value is at first location, 54 is at second location, and 89 is at third location. So definitely our output is correct. So this is a program. Only simple logic is that this is the logic in that for loop. If array element is greater than max, which is initially considered that the first element, which is if that array element which is greater than max, then array element is going to store in that max, and that loc means the location, which is equal to I plus 1, which will print that the location here. Okay. uh, Another one part is that in the same program, let me try to explain. If here by mistakenly, if the symbol is changed, in place of greater than, if you write it down less than, then you can see that what that output, what is the effect on that output is there. So here let me run that code once again, and now I type it any 5 numbers. Then you will observe here the maximum element in an array is a 2. Now in place of maximum element, it gives that the minimum element, which is at a location. Now the location part is not printed well. uh, Actually I am plus 1, so I 1 should be printed over here, but I don't know why that one is not printed. But that will be the case here. So that's why, to find out that maximum, I will try to write that the separate code for the minimum, but for the maximum the logic should be clear. Okay, so if you have that any doubt related to this one, then you can write me uh, the message or the mail.